Prime Women Media is a digital media company geared to 50-plus-year-old women, and the company is looking to launch a new TV network next year aimed at the same demographic, which it sees as underserved. I'm Michael Depp, editor of TV News Check, and this is Talking TV. Today, a conversation with Dorthy Miller Shore, board chair and CEO of Prime Women Media, about where she hopes to launch the network, how she's going to program it, and why she sees television as the next step for her brand. We'll be right back with that conversation. This episode of Talking TV is brought to you by Futuri, which provides today's broadcasters with tomorrow's technology. That includes podcasting system Post, which can extend your newscast's reach by automatically turning it into a podcast in a way that requires little to no work from your team. Learn more about Post at futurimedia.com/post4TV. Welcome, Dorthy Miller Shore, to Talking TV.
Thank you, Michael. I'm delighted to be here. I want to tell our story.
Great. Well, first, why a TV network for 50-plus women?
Well, we are traditional TV watchers. We actually watch cable and satellite. We like our news, local and national. We like the movies and all that. We also like to channel surf. We're not cord cutters. So, and you know, the distributors need to retain us. And so we think we're a really viable market for them.
Now, how do you see this demographic as underserved? In what ways is linear TV failing to represent this group?
Well, there's 63 million of us. It's not exactly a niche market, yet we're 20% of the population and only 8% of the women on any show is over 50 is 8% on television. Mm-hmm. Grossly underrepresented. And that hasn't changed in film across the board. You turn 50, you're kind of put out to pasture. And that's true everywhere.
Mm-hmm. It does seem, in my anecdotal experience, that there are richer and more roles for women over 50 in scripted television programs than I've seen in quite a long time, particularly on streaming and premium cable offerings. So,
well, you know, there are more than there were, there's no doubt, but there's not a tremendous amount of them. In fact, there's a lot of women out there over 50, actresses, et cetera, that have really been lobbying about this because there aren't any good roles. And very often the roles they do come up with aren't, anything that's typical of the over 50 woman. Younger men and women see women over 50 in a light in which they no longer live. We're not our mother's daughters. We are much more, a lot more active. We're involved in so many things, and we're not that woman. We're a woman who is interested in many, many things. We're still spending money, contrary to what many advertisers think. We have more money than most of them, so we're a viable market. The main reason for the network, though, for us is after having an online publication, primewomen.com, it's, by the way, it's free. You can get on and subscribe to that. But we found out that women really want and need more information, and television takes it to a whole new level. I mean, you can read about it, but that really doesn't change perceptions, and it doesn't help women to see how they can live differently. There's a lot of issues that we face after 50. It's sort of that menopause thing, and it changes your life in so many ways. One of the biggest areas is health, and that'll be a real feature of our program is health and what you can do about that. And so it's one thing, I can Google it and I can read about it. I can go to Prime Women and read about, certain health issues, but it's quite another to be able to see it on television and hear other women talking about it and learning how they're dealing with it and hearing from qualified doctors. it's amazing that we have so many doctors out there who have not been on top of women's issues and health. For example, there was a story in the New York Times back in February on menopause and how women had been misled for years over a very flawed study that was done of women who had taken hormones. And so women had gotten completely away from hormone replacement, and there's suffered just needlessly for years with things that happen there. So it's not like anyone is really staying on top of us. So we want to be that network, that channel they can go to where they can hear from really qualified doctors. One of the shows, and it's going to be entertaining, it's informative, but it's going to be entertaining. We're going to have like 3 doctors that are specialized in fields, could be either as a OBGYN or brain health and that sort of thing. We'll have a very lively host for the show. And then we'll have women come on that are also big personalities talking about these health issues so that women out there, they can hear it, see it, and it can make a big difference. That's just one area.
Let's come back to content. I want to talk more about that in just a moment. But first, I want to just ask you a couple of things about distribution. Because you mentioned, that this cohort is not cord cutters. They are still cable subscribers and linear TV watchers. But you don't see a correlate streaming platform or a fast, free supported ad supported television channel as a right destination for the brand?
Well, I do think it's a good destination for us to start. It's not that we may not eventually get into streaming, probably, but it's a good place for us to start. There's still a big market out there. There's a very big market.
Well, it does track that this is a linear TV oriented demographic, but the fact is that also cable television is coping with a very serious level of cord cutting, and there's a substantial amount of constriction happening in that space. Do you see those dynamics as significant headwinds that you're going to have to face in launching the channel?
Well, the way I see it, yes, they need to get rid of a lot of those channels that aren't bringing them any customers and advertisers. They will be making space for a channel such as ours, which will bring them more customers and ad dollars. The ad dollars is huge. And I can speak to that from my background is in advertising, and with our primewomen.com, we've seen the interest grow over the years. We've been out there over 7 years. It's grown exponentially in interest. And in fact, our sales manager sent out our press release to a long list of advertisers that she'd collected over the years. Some had never advertised with her, some big companies, et cetera, and sent that out to them. I mean, the inquiries have been astounding, them wanting to know when they can advertise on the channel, what are the rates going to be? So we know they're out there. So you take ad dollars and customers, it's a pretty winning combination. And I think that the distributors are going to say, hey, maybe we need to get some of this, rid of some dead weight and make room for this channel.
So what kind of timeline are you targeting for the launch?
Next year. We've got new programming in the works. And so we've got to create all of that and get it ready.
Which quarter are you aiming for?
A second.
Okay.
Second.
And where are you in terms of overall development? Is the financing in place? And are you talking with the major cable companies about carriage yet?
Yes, we have talked to all the major cable and satellite distributors and had great conversations. They're all very interested. So we're pretty excited about that. As far as financing, that will be coming very soon. There again, we have a big network of women around the country that we know. My other 2 founders and I have been involved in women's groups forever. We've always been a big supporter of women. So we are involved in an International Women's Forum and National Association of Women Business Owners. So we've got this huge network. And again, sending out the press release, I've had so many women contacting me and saying, hey, how do I invest? I want to invest in this network. So the fundraising part sort of underway, and we don't expect any issue around that or the distributors.
Okay. Well, let's come back to programming then. So you started to talk a little bit about show with doctors, with dealing with menopause and health related issues. First of all, are you going to be handling all the production yourself? Are you going to be working with outside producers? What's that picture look like?
Yes. Okay. So this has been going on since last July. We've been working with top experts, consultants in the business that are helping us, that have built networks before. They know how to produce these reality shows that we want to do, or scripted, or anything we want. They've got the talent, and they're bringing on more and more people. So we brought in a CFO who has great background with other networks. So it's something that we've been in the works with right now, and we've got some shows already sort of sketched out, if you will, that will start production as early as June on those shows. So we're pretty well into it. We're not just going to try to, wing this. We went out and got the experts.
Hope not. Yeah.
We're professional women business owners. We know we have to have the right help.
And you're based in Dallas. Are you going to be shooting a lot of these shows in Dallas?
Yes, it will be. It will be based in Dallas.
So
Probably. Go ahead.
Are you looking at entirely unscripted programming, panel shows, reality oriented, you say health related material? So is that the crux of this, or will you have scripted programming? Will you buy some programming that's appeared?
Oh, yes. Yes. We'll launch with, some brand new original content, and I'll go back and tell you a little bit more about that. And then we will acquire programming, movies, series, documentaries, but they'll all feature women over 50. That will be key. So the programming that we're developing, in addition to the health, and that's just one idea around the health, but another big one is career. This age group, they have a lot of headwind for them. They've got sexism, which is still out there, by the way, and ageism. So there's a lot around that. So we feel like that's a big area of interest, and it's also an area that myself and the founders have a tremendous amount of expertise as business owners our entire lives. So we want to address that and help women get past that. One of the shows is called, it'll be a turnaround, and we've got an expert who, that's what she did all her career. She helped businesses turn it around. So there'll be shows featuring, say a tech company that needs help, and maybe a dude ranch. So it's going to cover the expense, because these women are going to be not just, urban and suburban, they're going to be rural. So we want to make sure that we're covering the gamut. So that's a career one. Relationship, big interest there, because again, your life changes. Divorce happens. You lose your husband. Or maybe you've been single your whole life, and you're starting to go, I'm a little lonely here. So we want to talk about dating. It's a whole new minefield out there for women this age. We think that's going to be terribly entertaining too, in having these shows. And I won't go into a lot of detail because we've got kind of a secret format that we're going to be using. And we think that's going to attract not just women over 50. I think it's going to attract a broad audience of women and men, just because it's going to be that entertaining. So that's just to give you an idea of some of the shows. They're all going to be entertaining, informative, and inspirational. That's the go.
Yeah, because as you're describing some of the topics, I'm just worried, is there going to be any fun? Or people
yes. Okay. It's going to be lots of fun.
Medicinal, right? With all the programming. Are you still soliciting pitches from outside producers, or for people who might be watching this who are in the production sphere? Do you want to hear about more shows from the outside world?
Yes. I mean, we have someone that's will be taking that over and looking at it. That's in charge of all the production. will be our executive producer, and we'll be looking at, all of that. We've already gotten, as you can imagine, lots of inquiries from producers, talent, you name it. So we kind of set them all over in a file and let them know, hey, we'll be back in touch in June, perhaps even the 1st of July. But yes, we're wide open. We have our ideas, want to hear others.
Got it. And how many hours are you looking to launch with per day of original programming or programming generally?
I wish I could say exactly the number of hours. I should know that, but it's about 20% of the total will be original, and 80% will be acquired. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a lot.
Dorthy Miller Shore, thank you for explaining the idea here, and best of luck as you get it off the ground.
Thank you so much for having it.
Thanks to all of you for watching and listening. You can watch past episodes of Talking TV on tvnewscheck.com and on our YouTube page. And we are back most Fridays with a new episode. See you then. A new episode of Talking TV is available most Fridays on tvnewscheck.com. You can also listen and subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and Spotify.